Do you speak crowdlending? Welcome to our podcast covering the crowdlending industry. Our mission is to provide you with all the insights from this market and help you make informed decisions. I'm Gassen, co-founder and CEO of Acredius. We are a crowdlending platform based in Zurich, Switzerland. I'm delighted to host this podcast and hopefully bring value to all our listeners.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your time today. Today, I have a very, very special guest, and I'm proud and happy to have him with us today in this episode number 18 of Do You Speak Crowdlending? Today, we're speaking to a guest where in his region, they don't call it crowdlending, they call it P2P lending, which is, classic here. But Dipesh, welcome to the show. Today with us, Dipesh Karki. He is the co-founder and CTO at LenDenClub. LenDenClub is a leading P2P lending platform in India. Welcome, Dipesh.
Thank you, Gaston, for such a brief intro about me. And it's a pleasure to be a part of your podcast episode 18. Right?
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Dipesh. So, Dipesh,
let's see, I will be of some help in order to discuss.
Hopefully. But so without further ado, tell us more about yourself and your role at LenDenClub in general.
Right. So basically, I come from a different country. I come from Nepal, and we started LenDenClub in around 2015 with my football buddy. His name is Bhavin, right? And we thought starting a P2P lending platform is something that we could connect to, right? It's something that's quite common in our economy, within our family and friends, right? Our parents do P2P lending to people here and there. So the idea was quite, quite near to us. So we were able to understand what we could generate out of this, right? So we thought maybe we should organize this market. We should make it more more structured. That's the reason we took up the challenge in 2015. So initial days went into building this trust among the Indian customer set, and the challenge was quite fun. In fact, with a lot of hiccups, a lot of ups and downs, but we were through with it, and then eventually got regulated by the governing body of banking and financial sector, that is the RBI in India.
Interesting. So the regulator is the bank itself?
It's a banking body. It's not just a bank. It's just like the national bank of the country.
Okay, like the central bank of the country. Okay,
correct. Central bank.
That looks great. And I just read an article, and you guys just hit profitability. I mean, in the crowdlending industry, or the P2P lending industry, that's a really great milestone. So first of all, congratulations. So now you need to tell us more about that journey. I mean, that's the learning curve. How did you get there? What was really the upside, the downsides, and so on?
Right. So the very first idea of starting P2P lending was to eliminate the way traditional banking works. It's not their fault. It's just that they wanted to be more accessible to the customer. That's the reason they were available in every corners of the street, right? But then with the advancement of technology, with the adaptability of the internet here and there, right? It takes a lot of time for financial institutions such as bank and the other big NBFCs to move into this transformation. However, for entities and startups like us, it's quite easy to bring out new challenges. So that's the reason we just had to open one office just for our regular operations, and then every financial transactions post that had to be done online. So it was never a challenge for us. We just were pretty good with our unit economics, is what we can say. That's the reason we were able to hit profitability quite early, and we've done this several times. It's just that this was quite large. That's the reason it is worthy mentioning in the media. So hence, you guys seem to know about it.
And I mean, I assume in the market there are other competitors. I don't think it was like a very rosy journey, right? So maybe you tell us more about the
Absolutely.
landscape. Yes.
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, right, it's just that we are good with our unit economics is what I can tell you, right? From day one itself, we just knew that we had few motives, right? First, we had to make credit accessible to any Indian customer sets, right? If a person is looking for a credit of 5,000 to 10,000, or maybe even 20,000, or even a lakhs, the person should not think twice before making a decision on whether the person should go for a loan or not. I mean, the person should have applications like InstaMoney right at the top of the head in order to get the loan approved, right? So that's what we work towards, right? Today, there's so many customers. It's range of customers, a wide range of salaried individuals in India, right? Who just have InstaMoney just at the fingertips, right? So that's the reason we've been able to make this loan platform accessible completely online, right? Without any physical footprints, right? Uh, on top of that, we were able to build a good underwriting, mechanism, underwriting algorithm in our system, right? Which is partially machine learning oriented, right? Because of which we're able to reinvent the way our underwriting works in the system. So we were able to tap the platform default to quite a minimum, and thus we're able to increase the return of the investors. And third, we were able to convince the investors that this idea should work because it's pretty much plain and simple, right? You're giving money to someone who has been underwritten by a standard machine through some experience of people in the financial domain who have been in this domain for a while, right? And then ultimately you're getting a return on a periodic basis. It could be monthly, it could be daily, depending on the loan product. So the product is quite simple to explain to any individual, right? We do that with our friends and family. Now, once this loan is dispersed, and once an investor looks at their portfolio after a year or two, right? They were really amazed to see the type of returns that we're giving. So hence, with that, we're able to keep both our borrowers happy because we're able to cater to the demand on time, and our investors happy because we're able to provide them a reasonable return of about 12% plus in a platform, right? So hence, we're able to generate a decent amount of earning for us from both the sides, and that's how we hit the unit economic.
Interesting, Dipesh. So you guys do only consumer lending, right?
Yes.
Tell me more about how is it in India? I mean, are the majority of P2P lenders focusing on consumer? Do you have also
It is.
SME? Yes.
It is bound by the law to stick to consumer lending because lending is yet to be open for the other avenues so far, right? We are bound to do unsecured personal lending as of now, but then that's a good area to play with. In fact, it's a wise decision taken by the governing body in order to let the players not pay with a huge amount, but then to try out with a decent amount of money in order to uh, prove the model works. Right? And that's what we all have been doing. The top performers in the industry have been doing, and we've been able to deliver value. So eventually, I'm sure the avenues will open for other type of lending as well. Right? May it be mortgage, may it be any
Business.
real estate based, right, or anything, right?
Okay. Interesting. So, okay, so you in India, basically, you can only do consumer lending as a platform. That's clear. That's
Correct.
already a great insight, I hope, for all our listeners. Um, so now, if you look at it from this industry perspective, what makes it really more attractive than the traditional approach for finance? I mean, from the borrower perspective.
See, in the traditional lending, I mean, the process is a combination of both physical and digital, journey, wherein sometimes a customer has to be, physically verified, especially in India. I don't know how the scenario is in the Europe, right? However, here you have to do a physical verification of a customer, right? And there are so many touch points wherein a customer has to go through a lot of hiccups, that there are interactions, there are forms to be filled, and there's so many processes that are followed, right? With
Mhm.
the introduction of innovative technology used by P2P lending, right, we're able to innovate these entire process into maybe 10 to 15 steps that can be completed within 5 minutes. So
Mhm.
that's how fast we've been able to make the journey or the onboarding journey for the customers. Likewise, we've also been able to do the disbursement process quite fast because it's completely digital, like I mentioned, right? I just need to have the banking detail of the customers verified at our end, and then ultimately the account can be directly credited to the customer's bank account. So there is no as such physical interactions required for a customer.
Interesting. So also the infrastructure in India allows you to do that, right? So I assume like the fact that so people do not need to go to a bank to get a loan.
Absolutely.
Ah, okay.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of technologies in place even from the governing bodies, right? So we can do a KYC of a customers digitally because there are government databases that are accessible through verified digital channels. So that's how we're able to do the KYC and all of the processes.
Interesting. And I assume mobile first, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So, I mean, if you look on the future of digital lending in India, you are, I assume, very optimistic about it, right?
Very much.
Do you see anything, any developments that will arise? I mean, positive as well, huh?
Only positive. I can only see positive, to be honest, right? I don't say anything negative here. India is going to be the in the front in terms of financial innovation and digital innovation in the near future. So by 2025 or by 2030, it's India who will be providing a lot of innovative ideas to the world. The way I see it, right? As on today, I don't know if you're aware of the UPI, right, through which you can transfer money from your account to another person's account within 5 seconds if you are able to enter the amount and if you're able to enter the PIN code on time.
Yes.
So imagine how fast the technology is, right? You can't even imagine that within 5 blinks of your eyes, you have your money transferred. So that's how innovative India is, at least in terms of financial technology.
Awesome, awesome. So we spoke more here about the borrower side. Let's tell us more about the investor side. Why is this
Mhm.
a great proposition for the investors?
Right. So, the Invest customer sets, have a lot of funds diversified into multiple investment instruments, right? They've tried a mutual fund, they've tried fixed deposit, they've tried stock markets, right? But then the returns in all of these are quite erratic and, obscure to a great extent, right? If you look at fixed deposit in India, right, or the savings account, right, it's pretty much comparable, wherein the interest rate is between 3 to 5% in both the instruments. Likewise, if you look at mutual fund, right, it's pretty erratic, and COVID time made it even worse, right? It may look to someone that it was giving a good return, but in the longer run, I don't think people are making a good amount of money there, right? It must be fluctuating between 7 to 8% if it is good. Otherwise, there are people who are in negative as well. Likewise, if you look at the stock market, that is again a huge, roller coaster ride. I mean, you need to have your entire, brain and your heart associated to it in order to do a proper investment there. But if you look at P2P, it's pretty much simplified, right? You know that you're giving money to someone out there who is in need of. We provide an entire detail to that individual investor who is looking to do this investment, and can this investor can now make an informed decision in order to invest before investing in any type of loan. So that's the reason the product is quite simplified. The return is quite decent, right? At 12% on an average return is pretty good for any investor, at least in India, right? So that's how the segment is getting a good popularity as of now.
Very, very interesting. I mean, just to give some perspective to everyone, we are recording this podcast today on July 30th. We are around the world somehow in the middle of the Corona pandemic. And I'm curious to know, Dipesh, how is it today in India, and especially how is the impact or the effect of this Corona crisis on the P2P lending industry and maybe directly on LenDenClub?
Right. So initially, it was a huge shock for all of us. It's not just P2P, right? I mean, on an individual basis itself, right? I mean, it was a massive blow, right? We did not think that something like this could happen, right? An entire economy could go into a halt, right?
Yeah.
That was really shocking for us, but we did not stop there, right? We never took a break as such, just to mourn for Corona or whatever it is, right? Anything that comes as a crisis could also be converted into blessings, right? So we did a lot of things in this time during COVID, right? We tried. First thing that we tried was trying to work remotely, right? That was pretty much helpful for all of us. Second, we tried, spending a lot of time on with ourselves so that we could think on new ideas, brainstorming on new ways of innovating this processes, right? Anyway, we were doing a lot of contactless fund transfer, right? So the idea itself was quite in demand in during the COVID crisis time as well, right? So during this time, we worked a lot of partnerships, right? We were able to connect so many kind of businesses as well in order to to participate in P2P lending in some way or other way. So it was more of an opportunity for us. It was more of a blessing in disguise, to be honest. So I mean, we focus heavily on technical innovation, is what I can tell you as of now.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. You're not the first guest to tell us that. I mean,
Right.
this crisis, I mean, helped a lot.
Right.
Business that is digital. I mean, of course, we would never
You
not
know what,
be.
Gaston? That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. You always look for an opportunity, right? You always convert any crisis into an opportunity. So that's why you must be hearing this from everyone that is coming to your episodes, even before me or will be coming after me.
So true, so true. Excellent. So, Deepesh, at the end of this of the podcast in general, I ask one specific question to all my guests because I'm by background I'm a statistician and an actuary, and I like
Mm-hmm.
numbers and I like comparing things and doing statistics and stuff like that.
Great.
So actually, I am interested, and I think also our listeners after the 18th episode, I'm sure they are. What is your uh, favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit?
Yes,
Wow, it's mango.
mango. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I think you are also the first one to mention mango. Excellent.
Interesting. I was just telling this to my wife a few days ago.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Dipesh. I think the
Right.
insights you gave to our listeners are definitely of a great value.
Right.
You are our first guest from exactly from the landscape of India. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
very insightful and interesting. I mean, for me at least, to know that you guys cannot offer loans to anything apart from consumers. This is really interesting. Here in Switzerland, for example,
Right.
you can do consumer, you can do SMEs, you can do real estate.
We will be there very soon, Gaston. I mean, it's just that it's not there right now,
Yeah,
but then those will be there for sure.
hopefully. I mean, it's because
Yes,
then the impact on the economy can be way bigger with that, right?
of
So,
course.
and funny thing in Switzerland, actually, it's more difficult to do consumer because you need a certain specific law to do it and so on. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Thank you very much again, Dipesh. You take care, and hopefully we'll be all safe after this crazy periods we're living now. Thank you to everyone who is listening to us, and I hope you enjoyed it. And goodbye. See you in the next episode. Bye.